Hey, Rams, I'm going to grab some beers after the show. You want to join me?
For sure.
Cool. Brandy, you want to come?
Yeah. I'm getting sick, but the doctor said I can have any beer in the house as long as it's a coronavirus. Hey guys, welcome to the Flat Tire. I'm Brandon Abuzidan, that's Keishan Sandagar, and that's Ramsey Estefan.
Hello.
Claire is our producer. You can't see her because that's not how camera works. And welcome to the Flat Tire.
Episode 4.
Episode number 4.
Episode 4. I'm excited to be here again in the wonderful Choice Automotive. Switching up the frame each time we do this show because we have a plethora of cars to play with.
Plethora.
Plethora? Or
Plethora. That means a lot.
Oh,
It
I
does.
thought it was going to be something else.
That
It's
means a
not.
lot. That's a good one.
Today we're going to be talking about how Tesla has just taken Volkswagen's number 2 spot in the most valuable automaker's position. We're also going to be talking about a little company that most of you probably don't know about called BYD Automakers.
Never heard of it.
What is that?
Well,
I guess
you'll-
we'll get into it.
You'll find out in this
We'll get into it.
episode.
Okay,
So
cool.
I got a couple topics prepped for us. Just going to briefly touch on them. Flying cars, inappropriate named Hyundais, and demand for palladium. I'll let you know how that ties
Like the
in.
auto part, because we have one.
We have a
No, like
Palladium?
the actual element palladium.
Oh.
Palladium. Like, isn't that what Iron Man had in his chest? No, that was something else.
No.
And then some devastating news regarding America's newest supercar.
Oh, what? What?
What?
Devastating. news.
Devastating, but also it's their fault.
All right.
So-
Speaking of America, Weinermobile is hiring. I'll talk about that. They're hiring. Also, Daytona 24 ended today. On top of that, speaking of motorsports, Formula 1 versus Formula E. I'll touch base on that a tiny bit.
Touch base.
Touch base.
Like,
Base. What is happening?
oh, I'm getting something. I'm getting
What is it, James?
flat tire on iTunes.
What?
What?
Yo, that's
Yo,
fucking crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. The Flat Tire is now officially on Apple Podcasts.
that's amazing.
Thank
Yo,
you, Apple.
Thank you for the news. I'll talk to you
tunes,
after the show.
And he tunes too. That's crazy.
We all
That's good.
tuned
That's
for
amazing.
iTunes.
We are on all.
This is awkward.
This is awesome. Why
Major-
are we high five? Here,
Touch of tips, just tips.
We are now officially on all major podcast platforms: Google Play Music,
Android,
Spotify.
Spotify,
iTunes.
iTunes.
That's pretty
So
wicked.
you can listen to us
And some
wherever
small-
and whenever you are. If you're in the future, in the past, I don't know. But actually, technically, you're not. You're always
Wait,
going to be
how-
listening to this in the future
How would you be in the future listening to this?
because we're recording it now, but they don't listen to it till after.
Then how would they be in the past listening to us if you haven't recorded it yet?
time traveling. So yeah, thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. We're enjoying this quite a bit, and we're not stopping here. So whatever podcast platform you enjoy the most, use that. Drop us a review. Drop us a comment. Speaking of comments, Twin Force Fusion, thank you for engaging in all of our videos in the comments. We appreciate you. Don't stop. If you have any topics that you want us to speak about, just drop us another
Speak
comment.
about.
Speak about
Listen,
Ramsey is 16 years old. He's still
I'm
going through
16
phases.
years old. Anyway, on with the show we go.
All right, cool. I want to know about what is this BYD? It's on my mind. I want to know what.
Okay, so
What this is.
before we get into BYD, we're going to talk about the fact that Tesla is now ranked second in value
Okay.
in the automaker world.
Yeah.
This
That's
is huge.
insane.
They toppled Volkswagen. So Volkswagen, you can suck a left nut.
Poor
So
Ramsey.
currently, the top ranked one
they
is
serve
still,
sausages though.
is still Toyota. They're valued at $230.95 billion.
That's
Pretty
globally.
nuts. Oh, my car is pooping itself of snow.
Tesla's now second at 102.66 billion, followed by Volkswagen at 89.68 billion. That sucks for Volkswagen because they have a lot of auto manufacturers under their VAG umbrella. But that just goes to show you, just because you have a lot doesn't mean you're worth a lot.
That's actually really impressive, though. Their stock value has reflected that insane growth. Right around October, their stock was valued around $211 a share, and it's just about approaching $600 a share
Yeah.
as of this week, which is
Pretty nuts.
unbelievable. So some people have made a very large amount of money off these shares.
Well, what's crazy is the so the investors and the shareholders of Tesla authorized a $50 billion payout for Elon if he's able to maintain these numbers throughout 2020. He'll unlock a $50 billion pay package for pretty much keeping up with Tesla's growth, which I think is just incredible.
That is incredible.
That's
They're
pretty
set
nuts.
to release their quarterly earnings on the 29th of January. So that's kind of a make or break because the last quarter they reported earnings that were less. So then their stock value dropped significantly, but that's when a lot of people bought and now they
Yeah.
have. So we'll see what happens.
But what's crazy is that Tesla still hasn't turned a profitable year since its beginning.
And
They're still not
valued at-
making money, but they have enough money to keep going, but they're not really making any money
It's
either.
crazy. Well, I mean, I guess there's more than just the vehicles on like the automotive like sector of Tesla. There's SpaceX. There's their battery technology. There's
all the home
sorts of
products,
stuff.
the home battery products that they're doing.
Mhm.
There's the transport truck that they're trying to get going.
Those are cool.
We'll talk about that in another episode. Now,
Finger pointed.
the crazy thing that I found doing research on this is that they're not even the biggest electric car manufacturer. Toyota's not the biggest. It's actually a Chinese company called BYD Industries. So they started out in the
BYD.
90s making batteries for your old Nokia brick phones, the ones that were like, "Hi,
Yeah.
I can hear you from
Antenna,
20 feet away."
Playing Snake and stuff like those phones.
Before the Snake.
Before Snake.
Before the Snake.
Oh wow, that's beyond my time.
And they've moved along to started making batteries for cars, buses, taxis. They still do some battery work for like computers and electronics, but now they're focusing on transportation.
Okay.
This is part and parcel to China being so aggressive with the development of electric cars for their people. China has a huge smog problem, a huge pollution problem. That's why you see anytime there's like a video of people in China, they're always wearing like gas masks because it's horribly polluted in China.
Yeah, it's so densely populated.
So like their city taxis are mostly electric.
Okay.
Their buses are mostly electric. And the prices, so with like the subsidies and stuff that you get from the government in China to have an electric car, the cheapest one you can get from BYD is, it's called the E1. As I said, I have coronavirus. So the E1, if you look at it,
Subtly drops that.
it has the front end of like a smart car pretty much with those.
Is it the white one here?
Yeah, with those offset headlights. Picture a smart car elongated for 4 people.
It's not horrible at all.
So that one's actually pretty cheap. It's about $8,500 or $8,900 US.
Brand new.
Brand new.
What's the range on it?
The range I couldn't find any. There's very little information on this one specifically, but it's got a 60 horsepower electric motor.
I mean, if you just, it's like an electric K car essentially.
Yeah,
You're
it's just a commuter car.
putting around, saving the environment, saving money, but since China's so densely populated, a lot of people live in apartments, right? So do you think they'll have difficulty charging these vehicles, given that they park their cars in parking garages or on the street? Like how?
I think because they're so advanced with their electric vehicle strategies and stuff, I think that a lot of these apartment complexes would be built with just plugs,
Just equipped.
just equipped with plugs in front of your parking spot. I know a lot of like apartments around around like the
You'll
area,
see like a post.
with plugs in them, so you can
You
whatever.
just carry a Honda generator in your trunk, start it up, plug it in while you're driving, like run the cable out the trunk, just plug it into the car.
And I highly
would
recommend
be-
you guys look into. We can't buy them in Canada, but I highly recommend you just go out and look at the pictures of these cars. They're very familiar looking cars.
The BYDs.
Yeah.
BYD.
Not only are they familiar, but the interiors look pretty good. Like
It's like a parts
they
bin
have
special.
they have a big touch screen as your infotainment, and the cluster is usually just like a screen. But they all look pretty good. We're going to be talking about a couple or 3 of them. So we're going to talk about the Byd Quin Pro.
Okay.
So this, if you look at it, it pretty much just kind of looks like a Hyundai. Actually, a lot of
Quin?
their cars look like Hyundais.
Like an Elantra. That's very
Yeah.
Elantra-esque head. Like if you look at just the headlight, that's straight up
Oh yeah,
an
just
Elantra.
that front end.
Even
Yeah.
the grill has
That's
that.
an Elantra.
The grill is like an
Elantra.
Elantra and Camry put
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
that's the thing that BYD does is a lot of their cars are very familiar looking. Like they're not
there's
copycats, but they're very like, oh, that could be.
Do you remember that
something
episode
else.
of Top Gear where Jeremy Clarkson was like test driving all these like knockoff cars?
Yeah.
And I think one of them was like a knockoff BMW X5. But this one here, the song looks like a Toyota.
Yeah, it looks like the new RAV4.
Yes, that's the one.
But we'll get to that. Okay, so the Quin Pro, it's a plug-in hybrid, debuted in 2018. The ghosts don't like the electric car segment we're talking about, clearly.
That's fine.
Debuted in 2018. Came out with the Quin. So there's the Quin, and then there's the Quin Pro.
Okay.
Quin Pro Quo.
It's like MacBook Pro kind of thing.
Yeah. And it was the first car designed by Wolfgang Egger. Do you know who that is, since you're a Volkswagen nut?
No, but I love his name.
He was the chief designer for Audi.
Audi.
So can you imagine you started your career, you're the chief designer with Audi, and now you're part of BYD?
They probably paid him so much money.
Oh, yeah.
Like so much money.
Oh, yeah.
What's this company valued at? More than...
BYD?
Yeah. Is there
I'm not sure. I didn't look that up, actually. So it's a 1.5 turbo inline 4, making 150 horsepower. And then the electric motors make 150 horsepower. So the car has a...
Can it combine them, or is one or the other?
So it's a plug-in hybrid.
Okay.
Makes 304 horsepower combined.
That's impressive.
200 kilometers top speed and 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds. So nothing
actually
crazy.
Impressive.
Nothing crazy fast.
I know, but that's like
it's not
faster
bad.
than my Jetta, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not horrible.
For
the
a
fuel
large
consumption is 1 liter per 100.
That sips like pinky up, like
Yeah. The next
just
one.
sipping fuel. My car's chug fuel. I just bought a 5-cylinder car, and my wallet regrets it because I can barely get 400 kilometers per tank. And it's just great, but it's comfortable as fuck.
Anyways. Next one is the BYD Tang, not to be confused with the Tang that you drank when you were a kiddo.
This looks like...
It's actually a pretty good looking SUV.
It is. The grill kind of looks like a Tetris, so like pixelated screen kind of.
Almost Lexus like.
Yeah.
Lexus
I'm
has
trying to wrap my head around what
the grill.
vibe I'm getting from this, and I can't pinpoint it.
It looks like okay, so like the back half behind the front wheel looks like a Nissan Pathfinder.
Okay.
The front half looks like a new RAV4 on the grill section. The headlights have a Tesla look.
Tesla
and the wheels
Elantra.
kind of have an Audi.
For the roof
appearance.
line, the roof line looks very much like a Q7, like not the newest gen, but the one before. Very similar. I mean, they probably took a lot of design language from many other major cars.
Well, the thing in China is you can't sue them for copyright.
Because they're
the Chinese government will be like, you can't do that.
Get out of here.
That's why there's those companies that pretty much copycat other automakers' cars, and they always win the lawsuit because you can't really win.
Is that why we get so many counterfeit products from China? Like consumer electronics, basically?
Yeah.
Like knockoff AirPods and all sorts of stuff, you know? Clothing even, because no one can sue them?
Pretty much.
Cool.
The Tang is powered by a 2-liter internal combustion engine, which delivers 202 horsepower. And the 2 electric motors, one at each end, make 150 horsepower.
Similar specs to the Song.
Jesus. The performance version makes 498 horsepower combined, which is pretty good for a mid-sized
498?
SUV. 498 horsepower for
That's
a
impressive.
mid-sized SUV.
That's impressive. And do you have a price on this?
Again, no. So if you go to BYD's website, it's really scarce for information.
Okay.
This is like a go into the dealer and find out kind of thing.
Pretty ironic that they're the number one seller of electric vehicles.
Yeah. Well, because it's China. So they sell about 30,000 electric vehicles every month.
Jeez.
Every month.
That's kind of nice, though. But also, like, battery mining.
Is that nice? Yeah. That's very scary. 30,000 a month.
Yeah, but think of how many people there are in China.
They have no space to like drive.
They're only allowed to have like one child because there's no space.
No, they stopped doing that.
Oh, they stopped doing that.
Yeah,
okay.
Because their population started. The older generation started outweighing. The retired generation started outweighing the working generation. The working generation has to work to support the
older
aging population. So now there's way more elderly people than there are young people. So it's kind of like, oh shit, y'all should start fucking.
Pretty much in simple terms.
It does The 0 to 100 in 4.5 in the performance, and then the base does 4.9 seconds. So again, not horrible. And then the last one we'll touch on is the Song, SONG.
Song.
Again, it's kind of like, so this one's a compact. It's like a crossover.
I see Hyundai Santa Fe in the headlight.
Yeah, a lot of their cars just scream Hyundai.
And it also resembles a Hyundai Kona.
Kona.
Speaking of Konas, if you're finished,
If I'm spinached,
if you're spinach talking about the BYD
Well, hang on.
vehicles,
the power output 181 from the gas and electric combined. It's a 1.5 turbo engine, and it consumes 1.4 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's
On the
again
highway?
just another little
tidbit, just sipping fuel.
little sippity boys.
I like it. We're moving towards very fuel efficient cars, very small engines that make quite a bit of output. Like 2-liter turbo engines nowadays are rather impressive. You know, like you get certain 2-liter turbos from like German cars that, with slight modifications, can push well over 400 horsepower on stock internals. That's
And
a
then you
2-liter.
break your warranty
You break your warranty, but you crack a smile. But
and a block.
and a block. Speaking of Hyundai Konas, back to that. The Hyundai Kona Electric sets a new record for altitude in an electric car, which is caught my eye. I don't know, but I want to say something else about the name of this vehicle. So it reached an altitude of 18,802 feet above sea level, I presume, and that's on a road. That's not in the air. So it is like Guinness Book of World Records claimed that it is the highest an electric car has ever been. It's probably chilling with Travis Scott and Elon Musk,
Pretty high.
getting
Yeah.
super high.
Stop it.
But,
So so did they drive this vehicle up to 18,802 feet?
Correct, and they used portable chargers in order to make it there. So I think that's the challenge in going that high up and that far away with an electric car, is the fact that you don't have chargers. So they probably like generators or whatever they had with them. Maybe they had a full transport truck full of generators.
So I feel like that's kind of like
It's cheating.
cheating 100%.
A little bit,
That's a lot
but
of
it's just a flex, really. It gets them on the map a little bit.
Is it a
but
flex?
what's not
No,
a
it's a
flex?
Hyundai.
That's like I climbed Mount Everest, but I took a helicopter ride up to the top.
And then climb 5 feet.
Like, because it's an
To get
electric
to the
car,
top.
so it's going to make it. It's not going to be affected by altitude the way an ice will.
Yeah, like because air density won't really affect
Yeah,
the intake.
it doesn't need air
I don't know.
to run.
I don't know much about that stuff, but something funny regarding the name of this Hyundai Kona. So it has various meanings in other languages. In Polish, Kona means dying in pain.
Yeah, that sounds like Hyundai.
And on a more inappropriate scale, in Portuguese, Kona means a woman's private area, but in a slang term. So someone said here, like, every time you ride in the car, you'll literally be riding on top of a pussy. So Jeremy Clarkson cracked a joke about that on the
Yo,
Grand
check out
Tour.
that pussy, yo.
So it's just funny because there's a lot of Hyundai Konas on the street, and for our Portuguese viewers and Polish viewers, they're probably like, how on earth did that get approved, and why?
How
is,
did
and imagine they have a
get
kid who
approved?
knows, like, who speaks Portuguese, and they're like, "Mommy, why does that car say like
Okay.
vagina on it?"
So I have a question. So if you're looking for a new car and you're interested in the Kona, would you be cruising for pussy?
If you were Portuguese, essentially, yes.
Okay, that didn't get the reaction I was hoping for. Cool.
Moving on. Another interesting fact. So the world is becoming electric, as we've stated many times. Brandon suggested we change the name of the show to The Electric Tyre,
So if you like that, let us know. But we're not going to change it.
but we're not. So something interesting, and in the very near future, I'm talking like 2023. This is supposed to become real. Is Toyota has invested $394 million into a company called Joby Aviation to produce a flying car essentially, which looks like a drone. It has six propeller copter thingies. What are they called?
Propeller copters.
Propellers?
It's a
Propellers?
sure. No, it doesn't have. It has 6 sets of propellers, and essentially they want to pioneer the air taxi industry for short distance air travel. And it's fully electric, which means it wouldn't make a ruckus at nighttime. And it has a 240 kilometer range and can travel up to 321 kilometers an hour. And I don't know the legal implications of landing this in your driveway in a suburban neighborhood.
Well, I don't think you wouldn't be able to land it in your driveway in a suburban neighborhood because you'd probably hit some shit. But this is actually a thing that happens in New York.
Yeah.
They have
I was gonna mention that.
helicopter taxis to get from like building to building for business people. It's expensive as heck because
Yeah.
it's a helicopter.
Okay.
But like if you're a businessman, you're like, oh, I have to get to my meeting at the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
Then you just get on a helicopter, fly over,
and
land,
because the traffic's absolutely.
and then you make
terrible.
$3 million just because you're like, that's a deal. And then Shark Tank. And that's New York for you, baby.
And that's the corporate industry. Pagani's on the walls, washer fluid on the carpets.
Mom, the Pagani's leaking.
For some reason, I picture Julian.
That's a throwback to another episode of the Flat Tire.
The flat tire now available on iTunes and Spotify.
Spotify.
Keisha, you were mentioning something about a
Le Mans.
Rolex. It's a rolling, not a stopwatch. You know, you said something about a
Shit,
Rolex.
This shit
Never
never
stop.
stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, before I talked about that, since we're on the discussion of electric vehicles and the electric tire, Formula
Okay.
E is becoming a pretty big thing.
Oh yes.
I think it's slowly going to take over F1, and if F1 doesn't get drowned out by F1, I mean FE, Formula E, F1 will eventually become electric.
I hate
They're going
F1.
hybrids.
I don't think so.
They're
don't
already
think
going
so.
hybrids.
But they're running a
1.6 liters.
1.6. I mean, they're being pretty
Yeah, but
And it's not
efficient.
going to be anytime soon. Probably 2030, 2040, 2050.
F1's pretty boring.
That's because the racing isn't close. So that's where Formula E comes in.
No, but
Yeah.
so they've revised their rules heavily for Formula One. We could talk
Yeah.
about that. We could talk about that another time because they've done some major changes to even the playing field.
Yeah.
But
Oh, so instead of being able to sit at 25 millimeters above the ground, they can now sit at 25.2 millimeters above the ground. This
essentially,
should add equal playing field amongst all the drivers.
Yeah, pretty much.
we're very wealthy.
Yeah.
So, what about
This costs us
Formula
money,
E?
but we don't care.
So essentially, Formula E is a lower powered motorsports. So which means faster and closer racing. Faster, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Lower power.
It's a smaller course.
Yeah. So it's all city streets. So it's closer racing. Makes it more exciting. One thing though that I find kind of lame about Formula E is that the noise you get isn't the same as an engine since it's electric. You get
Tire
tire
noise.
screeches and
Yeah.
just electricalness. It's not the best.
But do F1 cars now sound good? 'Cause
Sound
I-
better than Formula E. That's
but
for
they don't
sure.
sound as good as the good old days of the V12s and the.
Well, yeah, obviously you never
Those
get
sound
back
so
to that.
good.
Yeah.
Screaming V12s.
And now they're just like. Okay.
Essentially, yes, but crank the gain up a little bit on that one.
It just sound like
That just
sheep.
sounds. Yeah, I was about to say it. That's pretty much it.
I think electric, like Formula E, is awesome because then it really comes down to the driver. Like it's no lot.
Well,
like,
that's the thing though.
because
So there is fan boosts that are available. So as a fan, you can actually vote for drivers before a race. Yeah,
Are you
so you
serious?
just submit votes to drivers, where that
That's
driver
cool.
at the last half of the race will gain an extra 5-second boost of power.
They just like click, boom,
It's like
send them more.
DRS, how Formula One has it, but these boosts are given by fans.
Dude, that's straight up like Need for Speed or Mario Kart when you drive over the arrow and it just like zoom, like it
Yeah.
shoots you forward.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
I think
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome. But
Yeah.
no, what I was saying before is like they're not consuming fuel essentially.
Well, yes, they're electric.
So the vehicle is the same weight at the start of the race and at the end of the race, so that it's close racing. There's no strategy on how much fuel to put if they pit near the end of the race and they want to put just a drop of fuel just to get there and be as light as possible.
When they do pit, they change cars.
Yeah.
That's true, because they can't charge it that quick.
Yeah. So it's a brand new car at the end of your pit. Which means that damages, if you hit somebody from behind, you get a little bit of aero damage, you could just swap it out,
Switch
brand
cars.
new car.
Is it significantly more expensive to do Formula E?
At the moment, yes, because
Okay.
not a lot of drivers, not a lot of sponsorships, but they are starting to gain notoriety
And
Wow.
some
They're-
traction.
The Formula E cars look a lot better than the F1 cars, I find.
They
They're
look
pretty cool.
very futuristic.
Very futuristic.
Super
They're
futuristic.
obviously they're streamlined because they're electric, and aerodynamics matters more in this situation than it does for a F1 car. But they also just look really.
They look cool.
They look more like Le Mans 24-hour racers than they do an F1 car, and I think that adds a lot of interest to it because you could look at it and go, "Wow, that's really nice."
Do you think they use the same tire compound as the petrol hybrid Formula One cars? Do you think Do you think the guidelines and the rules are very closely related there, or is it just a whole?
Well, you only
a
get
whole
one
new world.
You only get one pit stop per race
In
and that's
Formula
to
One?
Switch the car.
Oh, in this one.
Yeah, for Formula E.
Okay.
So your options are very limited. It's like you either make the right choice or you don't. I mean, Formula One also has only one
I thought
pit
you
stop.
could pit.
You can do multiple, but
You
it depends
can,
on what
but
the
you
situation.
can, but strategy-wise, they do one.
Okay, yeah.
So they'll pit you like a quarter way through the race, and then you're supposed to last the whole race with the fuel and the tires that you got on the pit.
So you think they'll run these in the rain as well?
Well, they have to.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't.
But like, so let's.
Shorts or
Yeah, so Formula E, pretty cool. I'm hoping to see a big turnaround for 2020.
I just like the crashes.
I've never seen a Formula E crash.
But that's like the only thing you watch when you watch Formula E because
That's fair.
these big cars, then they're all like, and then corner, and they're all just.
Just a big
pancakes.
mangle.
I like the sound effects.
You mean the lack thereof?
True. What I attribute the sound of Formula E versus Formula One is imagine going to a concert and wearing headphones to listen to the music of who you're watching versus a concert with loudspeakers. So think about it. In F1, the sound kind of goes through your body. You get immersed in the race. With Formula One,
That's a good way.
you're just kind of watching and not really getting any sort of sound to you or through your body.
That's a really good way of putting it.
There's a very deep, bassy sound with the F1. Well, maybe not nowadays, but
You still.
that rumble through your chest.
Yeah. Is there any Canadian courses on the Formula E calendar?
I don't know. I don't follow it that much.
I'd love to see one.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I'd like to see what the pits look like and
That'd be sick, actually.
like the Formula E pits.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Never thought about
Formula E pits?
Formula E pits.
Are those electric armpits?
Yeah.
They could be.
Thank you.
For $4.95, there could be any of one's armpits.
We talk a lot about electric cars on here.
Electric.
In 2019, there were no Canadian Formula E races. There was Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Chile, Mexico, China, Italy, France, Monaco, Germany, Switzerland, USA.
Chile and Mexico got it. That's pretty cool.
I feel like the Calabogie Motorsports Park would be really cool. No, but it'd be too long. 5 kilometers. Unless they did the West track.
No, the stadium track, actually. So they have the west track, but they'd also split it to the other side.
True.
But we did an endurance race, and that was brain melting.
Oh, at Calabogie Stadium
Oh
track?
my god,
that
I
was
get it. You guys VR race.
Yeah, bro. We're better than you.
Electric.
But that was painful, man. I crashed and then I lost focus and then it was just rough.
Yeah.
But we finished third, fourth?
I think that was by luck, yeah.
By luck, third or fourth. Yeah, if you haven't tried Calabogie Motorsports Park on virtual reality, try it. And if you need a place to try it, there's a place in Ottawa called Apex V2R. Hi, Mark.
But yeah, it actually wouldn't be a bad idea because there's a lot of sound pollution issues. Sound pollution
A lot of sound.
issues.
So I made a post on Facebook earlier this week and I was like, send us photos of your car, and we'll feature them on the show as well as plugging your Instagram handle on the show for all million viewers we have. And nobody commented a photo of their car or sent us a photo because they probably thought we were going to roast it.
Yeah, we're not going to roast your car unless you specifically say, hey, please roast my vehicle. Then we'll roast it.
I think we should do a roast my car segment.
That would be a lot of fun.
Or like, we could start with roasting each other's cars just to break the ice.
Okay.
All right, well, let's start with Keishan's. So for those who don't know, Keishan has a orange Hyundai Accent. It's
a 2009, low mileage. I'm looking at it right now. It's a piece of shit. So roast it all you want.
That is a beautiful car.
Keishan struggled to get into the driveway of the Wonderful Choice Automotive. That was fun.
That was absolutely.
We got to roast the summer dailies. The winter dailies are all hoopties. Not really, but there's nothing going on there. All right, Brandon.
You're right.
You drive a Mazda Speed 3, bro.
If anybody wants to buy my Mazda Speed 3, it's for sale. DM me in the DMs.
How's that wheel hop? You're basically a rabbit because you're wheel hopping. Because you're first and second gear and you're just wheel hopping.
Oh, bro, it's because of all the torques.
Okay, but your first and second are useless. My Miata is faster than your
but your
Speed
Miata
3.
is just useless.
It's not.
Well, but it handles well.
It does handle well.
It does.
It's a 30-year-old, slightly rusty. There's a hole in the floor. But it's a great car. It makes you feel amazing, and you will pick up...
Both of you bought the wrong version of the Miata. You know that, right?
What's the correct version?
The Mazda Speed Miata.
No one has like 15 grand for a Miata.
That is the one you want.
It's rare, man.
They are rare. They were made in for 1 year. They came up in two colors. It was like a metallic silver, a dark metallic silver, and a bright metallic red. Both very beautiful colors. I almost bought one.
Really?
But it was the right car at the wrong time. And it was really sad because I was at my Nissan dealer that I used to work at. And I was on the fence about it. They wanted 10 grand. It had 56,000 kilometers, original everything. And I remember coming into work with a PDI. I just went, got it gassed up. I was going back to the dealership, and I saw the guy who bought it drive away, and that's when my heart was broken.
Oh, so you were ready to buy it?
I wasn't ready to buy it, but I was like on the fence about it. Because it was at a time where I wasn't making enough money to really make it worth me putting myself in such a debt for a car. I have to take a loan out, do all the, and then just be in debt for a car that I really wanted. But it was at a time where I was like, that's probably not a good idea. I wasn't licensed yet. I was just starting in the trade. I wasn't sure if this was something I wanted. And it went away from me, and I'm really sad. And if you find them on Kijiji, they're like 50, like Keishan said, like 15.
If you find them.
You find them, like 15, 17 grand, and they're like 100,000 kilometers. But they came with a 2-liter turbo, which is like the ideal setup for a Miata.
Is it the same as a Speed Protege? Is it the same same engine?
No.
Is it not?
Mazda Speed Protege?
No, because it's rear-wheel drive.
Same engine?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Same engine? No. So
what are you doing?
If you're very welcome to drive my Miata, by the way, if you'd like.
I don't want to fall through the floor.
You won't fall through the floor.
I weigh like twice you.
There's only one hole in the floor. It's fine. It's fine. Weight reduction. I don't think Keishan's has any holes in the floor.
Keishan actually bought a good example of a pretty clean 30-year-old Miata.
Yeah, I can't wait to drive that.
You haven't seen mine yet. So I remember the night.
Yours looks like his. The hole in the floor.
The night we haven't talked much about our Miatas because
nobody cares.
The night we went to we went to view the Miata that Keishan ended up buying. We drove it from the guy's house to Brandon's house with the top down, and it was so cold outside.
It was like 10 degrees out.
No, not even. It was like 4.
It was cold. Brandon's like, I'm sick of my driveway. We're like, Brandon, when you're driving with a Miata, we need your mechanic expertise.
I was trying to nap, and they wanted my mechanic expertise from driving the car 20 feet.
Oh, yeah, we learned a lot. Clutch works. It goes into gear. Perfect. Buy it.
Keishan's really bad at diagnosing cars. Every time he has a problem with his car, he's like, oh, needs a motor mount.
That was one time.
That was every time. For like the 5 years you owned your Mazda 6, it was like, oh man, there's like a weird vibration. I think it needs a motor mount. Like, no, your tires are out of balance. Yeah, no, I think it needs a motor mount.
I missed that Mazda 6.
It was the motor mount issue at the end of the day.
No, it wasn't, because you replace it and you're like, oh, the noise is still there.
One of the noises went away. Not all of them. Not all of them.
I missed that Mazda 6. I just flashbacks to cruising down the.
You had a Mazda 6?
No, Keishan's Mazda 6. Cruising down the 417 East. West, sorry, going to Calabogie. In my rear view, I see Brandon's front bumper just flapping, and then I'm behind Keishan's in front of me, and his back bumper's just flapping, and then just like I'm driving in my Volkswagen, everything's in one spot. You guys are just.
It wouldn't be a Mazda if one of your body panels is flapping in the wind. It's adjustable arrow.
Exactly, like the chocolate.
Sorry, the what?
The chocolate.
Adjustable arrow?
The chocolate.
It's like an aero bar that has adjustability on it.
Oh, you just said your bad joke already?
Nope. I'm
So
gonna
close.
say that correctly. So, Keishan.
Speaking of bad jokes, here is a potential joke, but it's actually not. The Weinermobile is hiring in the States.
Sorry, what is the Weinermobile? Is
So-
this like a mobile?
You know the Weinermobile? There's a photo up somewhere. The Weinermobile that you know as a kid.
No, what?
You see, it's you don't
Dude,
know
were you
it.
touched?
Oh my god.
No, it's actual. It's basically it's a truck that looks like a hot dog, and it used to tour around the States or whatever. And they used to make hot dogs and give them away to people. I think I forgot what company it was. I think it was like Heinz,
Oscar Mayer. It
Wiener-
says it on
Oscar Mayer. Oh, it
Dude,
says
they
it
took
there.
what-
Look at the grill. It's like
They took
Smiley
what
grill.
They took what Red Bull did with their Mini Cooper and the can on the back, and really went a step above by putting a wiener on a
It kind of
Mini Cooper.
It kind of looks like a Jaguar E-Type in the front.
It does, but with a really big, happy fucking smile.
This seems like it's been around for a long time though, because there's a photo here of a much older version of it, and
Oh yeah, it's
there's
been
even a mini. Oh my god, there's a Mini Cooper Wienermobile.
yeah.
Literally what I just said.
Oh, not. Oh, did you actually?
Yes,
I thought you
remember
said
when
the
I was
Red
like,
Bull. You said the Red Bull one.
yeah, they took what Red Bull did with the.
Oh, I
and
thought you
then
meant with
put
the
hot
larger
dog,
version.
And now what I'm talking about was that, and you weren't listening to me. This is why we're always fighting.
I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you later.
Ooh.
Thumbs down or thumbs up?
Oh wow, whichever you like.
Anyways, I applied about 2 days ago, just for the hell of it. Just what are they gonna do? Like, if I get the job, I won't go and drive around a Wienermobile.
I mean, you don't have
I-
a job right now, so this would be the perfect time for you to make a really bad decision.
Well, my job is full time TGF media, whatever. So I in a note I said, if you guys want to give us the mobile, what the hell, the Wienermobile for like a couple days to podcast in. Hopefully they do that, and then that would be hilarious.
That would be amazing. Can you imagine we brought it in here?
I don't think it would fit. How big is this thing actually?
They had a huge.
Well, if you look at
truck
the
in here
interior
last
shot,
week,
it
the
looks like
dually,
there's about
Oh,
7
yeah.
people, it looks like 4, but I'm sure there's more seats behind those people. We'll put the pictures up above us. That'll be great.
Yeah, imagine this as a camera car.
That'd be
But I feel like this is
amazing.
how you get arrested for
For what?
For what? What do you plan on doing in there?
giving wieners to kids.
Moving on.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in your application.
Okay, I'm not.
If you can
not
land
doing
us
this job anymore.
an
just because you
episode,
said that.
if you can land us an episode in the Wienermobile,
I've seen enough Law and Order. I know how
I will
that
be
shit works.
so happy.
It's so facto.
The Weinermobile. So, Keishan, you mentioned something about full-time Greasy Fix Media. What sort of stuff are you doing?
What?
So 180 spin. Anyways, TGF Media. We've been doing a lot of videos on YouTube. This podcast even could be considered that. Ramsey and I, who's sitting right beside me, a lot of footage for Calabogie, for small businesses around the city.
You sound so excited to be doing what you do.
So I'm just looking at these pictures of the fucking Wienermobile. Like, what the hell is this?
The Weinermobile.
I really hope I kind of get the job, and I'm just gonna decline it.
Imagine you go and pick a girl up in the Weinermobile. Or just like, even like.
That won't be the only foot long she gets tonight.
Oh,
Do you think Volkswagen
goodness.
made this?
So your mom's like, I need a ride from work. Can you come pick me up? Yeah, I'll be there in a sec. Roll up. Wienermobile crash on the way in.
Oh god.
But yeah, the Greasy Fix.
Oh my god.
So if you didn't hear that, because our producer does not have a mic, but Claire said, "Can you imagine rally racing in the
Just-
Weinermobile?
A wiener with like 7 people like holding on for dear life.
10 out of 10.
Imagine the grab handles are hot dogs."
Oh my god. It's just like hot dog. You know when they string together like sausages?
sausage links. 10 out of 10 would watch. Bring back Group B, but only with cars that represent a brand.
With like food cars, like a taco car.
Bring like the SpongeBob hamburger from the movie.
Oh yes.
Oh my god, this
Yes.
A slushy, but it'd be like standing up with 4 wheels, and they have to sit on top of the slushy.
Let me so imbalanced.
Keisha, I was on Google and there's just like there was this sub search that had crashed. So I have pictures of crashed Weinermobiles here. This one's in the snow. This one's like broken bumper up front. This one is almost driven into a house, unless that's what. Oh, he drove into a house.
Speaking of specialty car in snow, Detroit done and Detroited themselves.
Oh.
No one out Detroit's Detroit. There's a concept car or a pre-production C8 Corvette, and somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm taking those wheels," and it's sitting on the side of the street on cinder blocks, missing its wheels, because you can't have anything nice in Detroit. They'll even take your front steps.
I thought this was a fully like registered car because as a prototype for the road, the plates are different, aren't they?
I don't work here. I don't know.
But regardless, what are you doing driving a C8 in the snow and salt? That thing is dirty as hell. Dirty as heck. And that's sad. But also, I blame whoever parked it there.
But like, what do you expect? It's Detroit.
Honestly, the Corvette's actually really nice.
Yeah, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're
What?
talking about how Detroit Detroited.
Detroit just Detroited the wheels off.
What is the most Detroit thing other than this?
Them stealing your front steps. There's actually a picture of somebody missing his front steps.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. He's like, I walked outside and I fell 3 feet because my front steps were missing.
Someone took it home like, "Hey ma, I got front steps."
That would definitely take your morale a step down.
Okay, you don't get any more jokes. That's
I'm
the
going to
last
physically fight you.
How else would you fight me? Verbally?
Yeah.
Are you crying?
You're a loser.
Are you crying?
No one ever loved you.
one.
Okay.
You're gay.
Okay. Is there something you want to talk about? All right.
Oh god.
I think that wraps it up for us today, eh, boys?
I got just a couple quick things to discuss. So a big thank you to Doug Ford
Wait.
for making catalytic converters not.
No.
Sorry for abolishing emissions tests for.
There you go.
Yeah, but you still legally have to have a cat.
Okay, but now it's kind of suggested.
Legally, they haven't checked
So
for 15
everyone
minutes,
just-
so we don't have to be there.
Everyone just yeeted their
what?
cats.
You know, never mind. Bad reference.
Everyone
sorry.
just yeeted their catalytic converters out of their vehicles. And I don't say you should do that, but if you did do that, there is a very high demand for palladium in
I
China.
know there's a huge fine for driving without a cat.
I'm just saying, let me
Don't
finish.
cut your cats off just to make shooty flame boy stuff.
Okay, but if you have already
Put a cat
removed your cat from
Put
your
a cat
vehicle
back in.
and it's sitting there, you can get a fair bit of money for it because the demand for palladium, which is very present inside of catalytic converters, you can get anywhere from $150 to $250 for this cat that's just sitting in your garage or basement or on your car if you plan on removing it, but don't remove it, but also remove it. And catalytic converters.
That's
fair.
uncanny.
There you go. Getting the hang of it. I hope you guys liked the intro to this episode.
I kind of wish I had coronavirus at this point.
No, you don't.
That'd be horrible.
The plague is here.
I'm kind of scared about the coronavirus.
Why?
I'm heading to that side of the world,
Me too.
and
Don't.
it's you too actually. So are we?
What?
We're
Where are
gonna
you
be
going?
affected by
We're
that?
fine. I'm going to Thailand
When?
on the 23rd
Of January?
of Feb. That would
I
have been
think
3
we've-
days ago.
We passed.
How are you going to Thailand?
just to
Don't go hang out with some lady boys.
just escape the winter, man.
Oh, I mean that makes more sense.
I just want to sit on a beach and fly a drone.
Okay, so you guys are both going away, so I'm just
Not at
gonna, So I'm just gonna podcast from my room.
So we're gonna need a guest to fill in.
Well, we have a guest for Keishan.
Yeah, we do actually.
Okay. And for myself, no one can replace me, so I'll just bring my
Literally
cat.
a shoe.
That's rude. That's very rude.
It's facts.
You know what? I'm going to lighten the mood with a nice joke. A nice joke that I will not mess up this time, and I will read right this way. Brandon and Keishan, did you hear about the chameleon who couldn't change color?
Oh God, no.
No.
He had a reptile dysfunction.
that was a good joke. All right, I'll give you a high five on that one.
I actually made you guys.
Yes, reptile dysfunction.
Is that it right? I actually made you guys laugh. You didn't fucking want to slap me.
That wasn't a dad joke. That was just a full-on good joke.
That was, I read that earlier today, and I was just like, yes. That's the one.
A reptile dysfunction. And now on that bombshell, thank you for joining us. Thank you for Choice Automotive for hosting us. Thank you, our supporters and fans. Catch us next time on The Flat Tire on Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes.
Please don't put that in the video.